Bernard de Mandeville. Among many scholars in the past, Mandeville is perhaps the one who created the greatest scandal in his lifetime with his ideas. Mandeville was born on the 15th of November 1670 at Rotterdam in the Netherlands. His father was a prominent physician of Huguenot origin. Mandeville was a medical student at Leiden University in 1689, where he advocated for the Cartesian theory of automatism among animals. He soon moved to England to learn the language. As a physician, Mandeville was well respected and his literary works were successful as well. He became friends with the Lord Macclesfield because he was well spoken and was later introduced to Joseph Edison. He died of influenza on the 21st of January 1733 at age 62. Mandeville was regarded as a classical economist. His main interests were in political philosophy, ethics, and economics. With the wide opportunities that he received, he was also interested in other fields such as criminology, education, feminism, vegetarianism, the French literature, and theology. Mandeville became popular through what is known now as the Fable of the Bees, which was published in 1714, and it was used to explain one of his poems titled The Grumbling Hive. He used an analogy of bees living in a flourished society until these bees are made honest and virtuous. In other words, they were no longer selfish. Due to no personal gain, the society collapses and the bees are forced to live a simple life. Therefore, Mandeville argues that selfishness is basically a good thing. It's the quest for profit and honor, which encourages us to do things that are useful for other people, such as providing useful services or trying to achieve greater things. He concluded that vice was a necessary condition for economic prosperity. Can take from Mandeville's ideas is that desires for profit and honor are rather selfish behavior that cause us to serve people in a socially useful way. Mandeville also understood the positive and normative distinction, in a sense that the point of the social scientist is not to condemn selfish behavior, but rather to try and understand it and its consequences. Mandeville can be at times confusing in his ideas, where he would be found defending thieves. He states that thieves destroy things, but that also puts people to work fixing those things that have been destroyed. For example, a libertine, which is a man who freely indulges in sensual pleasures without regard to moral principles, is a vicious character, and yet his spending will employ tailors, servants, and perfumers. These people, in turn, will employ bakers and carpenters. Therefore, the rapturousness and violence of the base passions of the libertine benefit society in general. Through the fable of the bees, Mandeville can be seen as someone in favor of free market and laissez-faire theory, but he also emphasized the value of spending and luxuries in economies, in a sense that it resulted in job creation. People had a good understanding of the balance of trade. He argued that if one country spends funds on imports, the long run effects of this would not be negative. He was therefore a critique of the mercantilists. He pointed out that money would end up being spent in the original country eventually. In terms of similarities, agreeing with Mandeville, Smith also believed that individuals' collective actions bring about a public benefit. Smith also believed in a virtuous self interest, which results in invincible cooperation. In other words, he saw no need to accumulate public benefits. On the other hand, Mandeville believed it was vicious greed or selfishness that resulted in invincible cooperation instead.